welcome to the Miami GP. Like I've said, it's going to be an interesting GP, and you start seeing how interesting it is going to be during the week. And congratulations to Baba Pikin, Max Verstappen, to welcome his own first child with Kelly Piquet, that is Nelson Piquet's grandson. And that is a wonderful thing to behold. A lot of people are saying it might get slow because he's Max Verstappen and because he just welcomed the baby. Max Verstappen is not going to get slow. There's no go slow on the path. It's going to only get faster. And to the Red Bull team for bringing another upgrade. That is their biggest upgrade yet. They brought floor upgrades to their RB21 and the floor looks scintillating. But is it scintillating that we want to see or how it performs on the track? Ferrari brought upgrade. We didn't see changes. So let's see if there will be any upset or big changes to what the Red Bull have brought. Sincerely, let me talk about Ferrari. The color match or is it match up? Who gave them the idea to combine red, blue and white? And they are combining it in the oddest places on the car. That is outrageous. That thing looks like a primary 4 child given a marker to paint. That's what that car looks like. I'm sorry, but that Ferrari is not looking close at all. Let me talk about the Pink Panther, the RB. Who gave them the idea of pink? As in, that pink is just too shiny with white. Kilo de RB. Well, they are not the worst. I see Ferrari's livery as the worst. Best livery that I've seen is the Audi livery. It looks like the Audi, but the little changes they added to it, you know, the army green and that black on that Coke engine cover and the side pods makes it look beautiful. They asked, this is their first home race of the season, and also I would say Williams' first home race of the season, because Williams have been bought by a consortium in US, and the drivers brought so many upgrades to their helmet, which makes it look beautiful. Let's look at who brought upgrades again. Mercedes brought upgrades. They brought rear wings. I think that rear wings is giving them wings. They are not Red Bull. Be sincere. Mercedes looks fast. At least in this FP1 that we saw, they are the one that looks fastest. In some of my shots, I talked about Mercedes knowing where they are, and the only thing that can save them is to bring upgrades, because if they don't bring upgrades, they're going to remain there. That rear wings and the rear beam wings that they brought actually lifted them. But is that their true pace? We can't know their true pace now until we get into the main race simulation. The McLaren are still fast. They look like the benchmark. We can see the Oscar Piastri and Norris speed. They are very, very relevant. And Max Verstappen is not slowing down. And talk of not slowing down, we can see the Williams are looking really fast, especially Carlos Sainz. It looks like Carlos Sainz is really getting grips to that car, unlike his teammate Alex Albon that is struggling with it. And I think the car must have been designed to Alex Albon's taste. But now Carlos Sainz is really gelling in the car. And FP1, it looks like somebody that is on a mission. Also, looking at the practice today, Isaac Aja is doing a good job. For me, it looks so fast and it looks unstoppable. And that is something we want to see. I'll talk about somebody who's not talked about this season. That's Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon is really struggling in that as team. His teammate Olivier Man, the rookie, is really getting grips of that car, but he himself is really struggling in that car. And I think he needs to get himself together so that he can be in the same mind with the car. All through the season, I don't think he has outfoxed or outbeat his teammate Olivier Man. He needs to do a pretty stellar job to get himself ahead of Olivier Man this season. He's a very good driver. That car is not a car he should be struggling it. But he's a new guy in a new team, so I think he might have some struggle. So during the FP1, while the cars are moving towards the end of the stint, going on the soft tires, Olivier Man stopped the race when he wrapped himself into the wall. And we could not see the real qualifying pace of other teams, but we know that McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes are just in their own league, and also some other teams will be able to move closer to the top. But we saw that Sauber and Alpine on this track, Alpine are not really finding their routes. Sauber is really struggling. And to talk about a team I've not talked about, Aston Martin. Everybody's saying Aston Martin is preparing for next year. Is next year futuristic for Aston Martin? I doubt it. They need to start preparing for now if they're preparing for next year, because next year is not a futuristic thing for them to start preparing for. And they're moving with a new engine supplier for the team. Preparing for next year means they should start preparing now. When I say Kimi, you say problem. When I say Kimi, say problem. See, I've said it since the beginning of the year that Kimi Antonelli is going to be a problem for them to bear. Now, Kimi took the pole. How did he take it? It was magical. See, he is somebody that his IQ is just there. He's so intelligent. He knows his numbers. He knows his data. And for the past few races, I am sure he's been looking at the numbers. He's been looking at the data, what he's doing, where he's getting it right, where he's getting it wrong, and how he can improve himself. And you know, from the get-go, he's been fast in Miami. This is the first time he is driving an F1 car in Miami. All those Agbayas there. 14 Agbayas have been driving there. Here is the time that everybody should say a rookie can outdrive a car. Everybody should carry Kimi on their head all through this weekend. Even if he does not win the sprint race, which I'm sure he would perform, even if he does not win the remaining race or qualify for the next 2 weeks, Kimi is the only name that should be on every journalist's mouth. Just say Kimi. Have you eaten Kimi? Have you heard about Kimi? Because this guy outdrove Russell. Like I said, it will happen before the end of this year. The funny thing is, let me tell you, he even took pole position before George Russell. Either main race or sprint race, he took it before him. It's so funny because today I just saw a young man evolved. I said it last year that don't stop his speed. Don't take the speed away from him. Help him to grow in it. And he expunged himself today. It was like an espionage. You know, we're seeing Redbull, McLaren. Then it just came out of nowhere. Pew! And nobody was able to get the pole by 0.045 hundredths. That was what he took pole by. And that is the slightest of the margin to show them that, yes, I have arrived. Congratulations to Kimi for taking the pole in the sprint race of the Miami GP. It is not easy, seriously. You need to understand that these guys are doing a terrific job. I've said a lot of times that George Russell is not a Class A driver. Forget about it, he's a Class B driver. And I said it last year that when Kimi comes, Kimi will show him pepper. Give him 1 year with Kimi. By the time he's going to second year, Kimi Antonelli will shake him. And this is just the beginning. I'm not saying Kimi will take more pole position, but what I'm telling you is Kimi is the right fit. Lewis Hamilton said it, that's the right fit for his seat. That boy is a problem. We can see the upgrade that was on Verstappen's car. That's the flaw. It worked well. Yuki Tsunoda is not having the same upgrade. Verstappen is the only one having that upgrade on his Red Bull. And unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda was out in Q1. Him going out were bound to 2 mistakes. One, when he first came out, he felt that the element was not well sealed. So a lot of air is coming in, which will affect his downforce, especially he himself in the car. So he had to go and change the element. Coming out, he put himself under pressure, locked up his right front wheel and lost some time. On the second time he was going, his teammate Max Verstappen plugged him. He didn't do it purposefully and he was unable to set good times. Gasly and Duan are having their own issues, and I think it was because of a miscommunication by the engineering that caused that, and I think they should be able to sort that out. But Oli Bierman crash did not really take the gear away, it only took the suspension. Suspension was changed and the car is fine. He was able to go into qualifying. And I want to comment about the Mercedes uniform. But seriously, looking at the Mercedes uniform, is that the best Adidas can do for Mercedes? Even their race suit, it looks like patched wet drink. I don't even know what to say. As in, that thing is off. Everything is off about the cloth. But going into SQ1, I think Mercedes really showed their hand that they are really going to do something SQ1. Russell and Antonelli topping the charts. But we had Stroll out, Duan, Tsunoda 18th, Bortoleto 19th, and Oliver Bierman out in SQ1. Bortoleto, last year F2 championship winner. What is wrong with this Sauber? Leave it to Sauber. Now, Lando Norris going out in FP1. I forgot to say that. I just remembered that he had a small mishap in which they are trying to reduce weight of the car. To come back in FP1, and that was a caution from the stewards, and I think those are little mistakes that these engineers should not make, but they are humans, so they can make such mistakes, and I won't hold them for it. In SQ2, Hulkenberg came 11th, Ocon 12th, Pierre Gasly 13th, Lawson 14th, Carlos Sainz out, and he did a stellar job this weekend. 15th, Isaac Aja again getting into SQ3. He did a pretty decent job to get himself into that position, and that is something we all want to see. We'll be bringing up upgrades next. How fast will they be? We don't know yet, but Kimi Antonelli setting a new track record in Miami is a good one. 7/10 from Max Verstappen's last year time. He's the youngest race leader this year, the youngest fastest lap setter, and also now the youngest pole setter in F1. But tomorrow is going to be interesting. Will the McLarens be able to challenge Antonelli? Would Max Verstappen stamp his authority like, yeah, I'm here? Will the Ferrari be able to say, yes, I said it, that they are going to win? Will they be able to put up the challenge and say, yes, we need to win it? Up until tomorrow for the sprint race and the main qualifying. Join my analysis and my feedbacks on these races. Please like, share, subscribe. I love you guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye. Cheers.